It's almost 3 in the morning and I can't sleep. So I, of course, decided that it would be a brilliant idea to film a video and put all of my troubles on the internet. Because everything's better when it's on the internet, right? I'm sorry, I'm graduating from high school in just over a week, and I always thought that I'd have more stuff figured out by now. Like graduating and leaving school and going into the real world and being an adult and all that crap like that. It still doesn't feel real, you know? Like I'm planning for something that's never actually gonna happen. I mean, I'm 18. Hell, I'm not even legally allowed to drink yet, and I'm supposed to be making plans for my future? How am I supposed to be expected to make good decisions? Not that the one has anything to do with the other, but I should not be filming this late. You know, it's prom this weekend. Not that I'm going. It was just weird to think about. And then it's exams next week. Then commencement, grad, and all that. When did my life get so crazy? Things were so simple till this year. I mean, sure, I'd still be stressing about school and exams and growing up or whatnot, but when did it get to the point where I was stressed about... I guess there's no reason to lie about it. I've never had to stress about James before. Or anyone, for that matter. I've never cared what anyone thinks about me. I mean, except for people whose opinions I value, which is who? Megan? Britt, which I would never admit under any circumstance. Hudson, on occasion. My dad, since I seem to be delving into the deepest parts of my hidden self tonight. And now James Wright. It's weird. It's not like a constant stress. It's like at random times. Like I'll hear a stupid joke and think that's something James would find funny. But then I'm launched into this inner battle of whether or not I can tell him because of everything that's happened, and it's exhausting. And I miss hanging out with him and talking with him, but at the same time I see him and I remember every thing that happened and every stupid thing he... I get angry. Megan made us talk today. Yesterday. We didn't really discuss anything that's happened. Just kind of touched on some surface topics. There's a lot of politely dancing around anything that made reference to, well, you know, if you've been watching these. He made it very clear that he hasn't given up on whatever you label our relationship as. It was weird to see him so careful about what he was saying. At the end, he just made me promise that we'd talk again before summer, which isn't unreasonable, I guess. Have you ever noticed the conversation change right when you walk into a room? Or heard your name in someone else's conversation as you pass them in the hallway? And it happens once or twice and it's a coincidence, but then it starts happening more and more. And suddenly you feel like everyone but yourself is in on some big joke and you're the punchline. Does that make sense? Like everyone else knows something about you, except yourself. While we were talking, James said something that got me thinking. Which, I mean, I don't want to talk about, but it's all that's been swimming around in my brain for these past 12 hours, so... I blame it for keeping me up, which means I blame James for keeping me up, so... Thanks again, Percy Wright. He said I struggle with impulsiveness. That sounds very accusatory. Let me start from the beginning of his speech. He said that he thinks we let things get out of hand. he started acting like a douche and it got away from him and that was his fault. And that he knows I struggle with impulsiveness and acting immediately on what I feel, and that he's done a bad job about being sensitive to that and struggle? I don't know what he means by that. I mean, it has negative connotations, so I feel like he's saying it's a bad thing. Is it a bad thing? I'm emotional, and I act on it. And sometimes I act on it without meaning to. And it's not like I'm the only person who has outbursts like that. Well, James does it too, like at the cabin. Shit. I think... Is that how people see me? But James, his aren't outbursts so much as entirely different personas. It's like he changes who he is depending on who he's with. But not like actively changes, just slips into different behaviors to kind of react to whatever situation he's in. It's not like he's doing anything though, it just happens. He has no self-control. But me, I'm the same person all the time. At least I'm consistent. I don't split myself up into different versions of myself. I'm all of me, all the time. No disguises. So maybe that means I'm acting on all of my emotions. That's still better, right? At least I'm being true to myself. It just means things get a little messy sometimes. I'm just tired of this. Do people really see me like that? Like someone who acts the way I want to all the time and doesn't restrain myself? I don't know. Enough of this. I'm going to bed.